Hi there, I'm Karen Antara and welcome to my YouTube channel. And I'm sure you've noticed the world is changing very rapidly, isn't it? We've been waiting for this for a long time, I'm sure, but it appears to me that it's just all collapsing. Everything's collapsing out there, all the different systems and everything. And you're not immune, I'm not immune. Everyone is really being impacted by this. It is a global shift of consciousness. It's definitely a big change is happening in the world, and we are all being affected to one degree or another. And I think it's absolutely about truth, integrity, authenticity, and alignment. That's pretty much it. Everything can be encompassed in those few words. So if you've been lying to yourself or other people, if you've been hiding something, if you've been lying, cheating, stealing, copying, pretending to be, do, or have something that you haven't actually got, if you've been gaslighting people, if you've been spell casting, then you can expect to experience a bigger collapse in this coming time than if you were just kind of holding yourself back or playing small or, not stepping into your greatness. And even then, for those of us that have been holding ourselves back, we are still going to go through an experience of things that are not in alignment for us starting to fall apart and collapse. Or maybe, if we're kind of onto this enough, we will see the signs of what is not working so that we can let go of that and kind of change it up a little bit so that we don't experience such a big collapse as we might have had we been resisting these coming changes. Now, when we let go of things that are not quite in alignment for us anymore, it can be really quite uncomfortable, but never as uncomfortable as the huge collapse when we've been massively out of alignment or out of integrity and truth. So I've mentioned this before several times probably over recent months. And I was talking specifically in regards to coaches and leaders and healers, that have created this big fancy image that is not quite the truth of what their life is actually like. I said it would fall apart, and that is very evident now. It's happening, like we can really see this. And a lot of people are seeing this as well. If you follow these people, you'll notice in the comments, actually people are quite nasty, to be honest with you. They're very rude, they're nasty. But I think it's because people feel frustrated. Maybe that they feel as if they've been sucked in. They bought into this big image that was created, and now that it's very evident that it's collapsing and falling apart, people, I think, are quite angry. This is not just to do with spiritual coaches or leaders. I think this is across the board, in every aspect of life, because we're seeing collapse on a major scale in every system. Authenticity is the key here, though. We have been collectively witnessing now for some time the collapse of systems. People have absolutely had enough, and really we do need to stand up. That's the thing. We need to stand up and be heard, because bitching about everything that's wrong with the world to our friends in the kitchen over a glass of wine maybe, or on the phone while you're cooking dinner, bitching about politics and governments and unelected oligarchs, and that actually is not going to change anything. We really do have to stand up and we have to say no. And no is a very powerful word. It's a word actually that doesn't really need further explanation, though we usually feel that we have to explain ourselves when we say no and go against the system. That's a little bit twisted. We shouldn't have to explain ourselves. But anyway, standing up alone when you're the only one standing up or making a stand. That can feel very scary. But the thing is, we've always historically felt safer in numbers. This is a tribal thing, right? When you have your tribe around you supporting you, well, you've got a chance of survival. When you're out there on your own, and the wildebeest are coming, it's a little bit scarier. And standing up and saying no, or standing for truth on our own when we feel alone, is one of these times when you really, really wish that your tribe had your back. That's why it's very important now to find the community of the right people to be with you and support you. But the thing is, there are a lot of us now that have woken up, that we can see what's really going on, and it really is time for us to come together and say, no, I don't consent, I'm not going to go along with that, whatever it needs to be. The thing is, it always seems to come down to money, doesn't it? Of course, we need money. We need something, some form of exchange. That could be gold and silver coins in your pocket, maybe. But let's say it's money, right? And we do need something to exchange value with, because money, or the lack of it, is always used to control us, and it controls us so powerfully. I mean, we know that people caved in and had the medical intervention in order to keep their jobs so that they could provide for their family, put food on the table, keep a roof over their head. That was particularly cruel. But people go to work every day to jobs that they hate. People literally have heart attacks to avoid having to go another week at work. And yes, there is actual statistics that show that more men have heart attacks on a Monday morning between 8 a.m. and midday than at any other time in the week. And you've got to question, is that literally because they cannot face another week at that job, in the office, in the trenches, whatever it is that they're doing? But the stress gets to them, and, we could question, at a deeper level, is their soul really saying, I would rather die than do another week at this job? But we do what we think we have to do in order to earn money, because we need that to survive. And that's a pretty bad situation to find ourselves in, isn't it? And yet it's true for most of us. People do what they think they have to in order to get the money that they need to survive. But imagine doing a job that you absolutely love, or having a business that really inspires you and kind of lights your fire and sparks you up. Imagine having a job or a business, a life that you get to do every single day, and you absolutely love it and you thrive in that. And that earns you enough money, brings enough money in for you to do the things in life that you love to do. And the point is that you can have that. And more specifically, going forwards, if you are in alignment with truth, integrity, authenticity, because those are our key words. But this is where it all starts to get a little bit weird, because when this life, this job, this business that you love is going really, really well, and it's bringing in the money that you want to create a nice life, then the temptation is that you want more, that you want more coming in, more abundance, more every month, more big figure at the end of the year, multiples, right? 10x's all over the place. And there's nothing wrong with that at all, providing that you can still stay in truth and in alignment and in integrity and in your authentic self as you do that, as you amplify and as you increase the money, the income that's coming in. The problem is if you stop caring about what you're doing, what you're selling, how you're helping people, if you sell yourself for the sake of more money, then you're lost. It's all gone and it will collapse. So if you love helping people, let's say, and you make a lot of money doing that, let's say multiple six figures, right, off the top of my head. Could be 7 figures, could be 8 figures, whatever number you like, just pick it. Say that you love helping people and you're earning that amount of money, and then it all starts to feel so easy. And the money feels good. And then you're ready to scale your business. You want more, you see bigger, the vision gets bigger and bigger. And because you want more and, you know, everything is feeling easy and you don't really want to put more effort in, but you want more money, then you put systems in place and people in place that start running everything for you. And let's say you get AI in on it and it does everything so much quicker, far cheaper than the real people, the VAs or the assistants that you want to get in. And now, whilst I'm not saying never do that, it's up to you, it's your business. But the point is, when you start putting these things in place so that you can take a backward step and not have to put your energy into it, you have shifted the whole frequency of your business. It's not you anymore. It was you. It was your frequency that attracted people in, but now you're not there anymore. The energy field that you held for that business is just not the same. And everything is about energy and frequency. I was on a call, this is a side note, it's coming into my head as I'm talking to you. I was on a call the other day. It was like, you know, one of these webinar things, and you know they're going to try and sell you something at the end, and that's fine, but I was kind of interested in what this guy had to say. So I listened all the way through his, 45-minute, 1 hour little webinar thing. It was a pre-recorded one for me because time zones, so I listened to it on replay. But it certainly appeared live because he was answering people's questions in the chat box. You know how it works. Anyway. Quite an interesting guy, had quite a lot to say, and then it came to the bit at the end, and it said, I've been doing this for 20 years, and I've worked to create my own AI agent now. You can ask my AI agent anything that you would have asked me over those 20 years, and it will answer you instantly. So you will get instant answers to your questions. Now, while some people may have thought, great, that's awesome, I can ask it anything and get all of my answers. To me, that was a massive back it out the door. I don't want anything to do with it because the guy's energy was not there. Now, you can argue, oh, yes, but it is his energy. It is his experience. He's just uploaded it into AI. Have this kind of argument, discussion with many people. I get it because you're saying to me, it's his experience that he's input, so it really is his energy. No, it's not. It's very different. It really is very different. Anyway, that's aside. You might still make money doing that. I've heard some coaches even say, upload all your answers into an AI agent and then you don't even have to coach people anymore. That was big red flags for me, I've got to say. Anyway, you might make lots of money doing it that way. It might really appeal to you. You might love doing that. But my question is, what is your purpose? What are you here to share with the world? What is your uniqueness? And can AI or tech systems do that for you with the same quality of energy that you could if you were sitting in front of me coaching me? as opposed to me talking to an AI agent that knows all your answers, apparently. Where are you in this? Where is your energy? How can I get to feel you to know that we're in alignment? Or is this just about money for you? The energy between the two, of you showing up or of an AI agent showing up on your behalf, that energy is very, very different between the two. I can feel it. Other people can feel it too. Some time ago, I worked with a coach, one-to-one, who was there at the start. And then gradually, it all started to shift over. And she was spending a lot of time, working on her AI, getting that uploaded. And she was less and less there for me and for the other people. And it was palpable that she wasn't there, that her energy wasn't in there. It felt empty, it felt vacant. I could ask questions, but I almost didn't want to because I knew that her mind, her consciousness was focused on something else, gone somewhere else. And this is what I'm noticing as well about so many people's businesses right now. You can see it very easily in their posts on AI as well. Now, I know that life comes along sometimes and, delivers us a dose of chaos. Maybe there's a family crisis or somebody's sick or somebody needs you or, you get divorced or you've got to move house at short notice, whatever it is, life happens. That, I'm not even talking about that because that is one of those things in life that we all deal with. What I'm talking about is somebody who consciously wants to withdraw from the business to do something else, but still setting everything up so that the money generates without their energy there. I know people are going to say, oh, you just haven't got a business mind, Karen. I'm not talking about business. I'm talking about energy. I'm talking about your frequency. Because when people do that, where is the energy in their business? Where is the soul in their business? In fact, I've got to say that we are already losing people in this timeline split that you've heard me and many others talk about, I'm sure, because they are getting lost in the technology, whether that's scrolling time and getting kind of swept away with social media stuff, whether it's AI, whether it's following people with these quick money schemes or strategies that are going to lock in 7 figures or whatever it is that they're saying. People are losing themselves to external things that promise them great gains. How about they get inside themselves instead? How about we get inside ourselves instead and find out what we really feel, what we really think, what we really believe, what drives us? Let's get to know ourselves first. And then let's talk about our place in the world, what we are really here for and what we have to offer and what we have to share of our experience. This world has become very, very busy lately. I think probably even in the last month, the speed that everything is happening is 10x or more, maybe 50x in speed and busyness. That's probably to do with AI. I think it is, to be honest. Clearly, I'm not a fan of AI because I looked at it. I've seen what its agenda is. I looked at it in the consciousness field. I've seen how it plays out through the astral plane. Anyway, all of that stuff, it's definitely exacerbating the speed of the bifurcation that we're going through at the moment. In fact, I would say the trifurcation, you've probably heard me say this before, I see 3 pathways, potential timelines for our future. There's many more, of course, but, the biggest ones that I'm seeing, I would say 3 pathways, not just 2. And I'm seeing quite clearly that people are already aligning onto these 3 pathways, but they're not even realizing it yet. Whatever. I mean, it's our individual choice, isn't it? I can't save everyone. I've tried my best to bring awareness to things, to help to wake people up for close to 30 years now. Where people are, what they're choosing, well, that's fine. It's your choice. But if you're listening to me, please listen to me and hear what I'm saying and take it on board, perhaps. What I'm interested in is the real, true, organic timeline. You can call that the ascension timeline if you like. It is an ascension timeline. But then when we put that label on it, we have to strip everything back, strip all the dogma back and away that gets plastered all over that expression in the ascension teachings that are everywhere, in the ascension groups that are everywhere. We need to strip all of that back so that you and I are talking on the same page when we talk about ascension timeline, awakening, expansion of consciousness, soul growth, activation of your DNA strands for elevation, etc., etc. So, you know, when you're having a conversation with someone and you think that they're awake, right? And then suddenly they say something to you. And, well, I know mine does. My face kind of freezes. And I think, oh, my God, they're not really awake. Like, they come across as being awake. And I'm like, yay, great conversation. And then suddenly I'm like, oh my God, like on a scale of 1 to 10, I've just realized this person I'm talking to is on the scale 1.5. And I'm like, oh, I'm sure you've had that experience. It's like, you know, when people, they think they're awake and they think that being awake and being woke is the same thing. And it's like, no, that's not what we're talking about here. Anyway, I digress. Everyone has their path to walk. And I'm a master at learning things through trial and error. I've made a lot of mistakes. I've gone in places thinking, this is going to be great. And then I'm like, you know, and I tiptoe backwards out of there as quick as I can. I do that. That's kind of part of my human design. That's how I learn a lot of stuff. And the thing is that you have to be, when it comes to awakening, you have to be willing, I think, to energetically feel into the truth of something. And then if it feels in truth for you, and if it's aligned, then you stay with it. But if you're involved in something and then you suddenly get this inkling that it's a little bit off, then you have to be prepared to dump it, let it go, and, you know, really honor the fact that your soul is saying to you, there is no alignment here. There's a mismatch here now. Some things work for a little while. Some things we push to try to make them work. But at the end of the day, when you really desire to live in truth and you really want to honor that, you get to know the truth of everything. When I asked to learn what truth was all about, I actually made the declaration, I only want to live in truth. I only want truth in my life. Like literally my whole freaking life fell apart. I was part of this spiritual group and I realized it had distorted teachings. My marriage fell apart. That clearly wasn't in truth, you know, and all of these things just like literally collapsed around me because they were untruth and I desired truth. So that was a massive, steep learning curve for me. You know, there's a joke about be careful what you ask for. And we go, ha, ha, ha. Like literally my whole world fell apart when I asked for truth. But that was 20 years ago or more now. And, I keep trying to align to truth at every opportunity. I've made mistakes along the way. I've tried things that haven't really worked, and I could keep slogging them or say, it's not quite in alignment now. It may have been a year ago when I started it, or 2 years or 4 years, whatever. But things change over the time, and it's not that it was ever wrong or bad. It's just that for where you are now, for where I am now, I'm making some changes. So there you go. Disclosure. I'm making some changes. The thing is, it takes courage to let go of the things that we really liked and to move on from them. So there's definitely things that I've loved in my life and in my business, and things that, like years ago, I had a course called Abundance Bootcamp, and I loved that course. Then it got to a point where it's like, oh, okay, it needs to evolve to the next level now. So I had to let that one go and recreate a whole new thing at a new level. I'm at that stage again now, letting the next few things go and moving into a new level. And to be honest, it takes courage to do that, especially when something has kind of been working and you've loved it. To kind of burn it all down and start from the ground up again, that can be a bit scary. It takes a little bit of courage. But when you feel it in your heart, when you keep, going on YouTube, listening to a podcast, talking to somebody, and, they just say something like 4 words, and those words are like a signpost, and it's like pure gold, and you go, oh my God, there's the validation, there's the confirmation, there's the next signpost. You've got to follow that, because really that is your soul, that is your truth that's trying to align you. It can take courage to throw things away and rebuild and start anew. But staying where we're not meant to be just because it's uncomfortable to move or to change, that will become unbearable in the end. Like if we're talking about your business, it's probable that if you keep flogging a dead horse, as they say, that your business is going to collapse. You won't have anything coming back from that, probably. Or you will just know so deeply in your heart that this is no longer in alignment for you, that literally you won't be able to look at yourself in the mirror anymore, because you know that you're in untruth. You're not in integrity. You're not being authentic, and so you got to live with yourself every day. You got to look at yourself in the mirror, and you got to love yourself. And so if all of the messages are change this, move away from that, and then create this thing that is so big and so amazing and so exciting, but it's scary and it scares the pants off of you, that's where the courage needs to come in, to go, oh, my soul, my heart is showing me this and I'm really scared, but I've got to step into that because that is my truth and I know it is. That takes courage. And avoiding that, denying that, staying small, staying somewhere stuck where you're not meant to be, in the end, it will make you sick. It will make you sick of life, sick of yourself, and maybe even physically sick, because you will be not in alignment. The whole frequency is wrong. We have to be committed to ourselves first and foremost. And yes, we can sacrifice ourselves for a short time. Maybe you stay in a job that you don't like because you're actively job hunting to get to one that you do like. I'm not saying throw it all away today, throw the baby out with the bathwater. But if you know you have to make these changes, well, then at least make steps consistently, take the action steps to make it happen. Don't keep staying in the wrong places. Don't keep doing the wrong things. Don't keep, in any situation that deep down's not right for you, don't stay there. Just find that courage to make the steps. People stay stuck for years They want something else. They're searching, but they just don't take the action steps to change anything. And, people come to me saying, oh, I'm so stuck. I'm so sick of this. I can never get ahead. But what they're lacking is the commitment to themselves to make the changes. Maybe they don't love themselves enough. That's so important. It takes work to become a better person and to create a life that we love. The change must happen on the inside first, though. Fake it till you make it could work for a while, but fake will always be fake. And in the end, you have to be honest with yourself, especially now, probably more than at any other time before, because we really are now in the time of truth and authenticity. If you can't look at yourself in the mirror and know that you are being truthful with yourself, well, what have you got? You've got to be able to face yourself. What I see is people wanting to grow, wanting to expand, remember who they are and what they're here for, all of that stuff. But honestly, they don't want to put the work in. They want it to come easy. They just be thinking it or visualizing it, and it will happen. They don't want to dig deep. They don't want to clear the heart blocks. They don't want to clear the limitations and the negative beliefs and the old patterns of behavior that keep them stuck, because it's hard work. And I know all of that sounds like hard work. And yeah, it's not comfortable, but it is liberating. And at the end of the day, it's far less painful in the long run to do that inner work than to be stuck somewhere that you hate or in a life that you hate. Because addressing that stuff now, always nice to have support. This is what I do every day with my clients, support them through these processes. But if you do that work now, then you get to be you afterwards. Truly, authentically you. And you can't put a price tag on that. That is worth more than anything that is a fake version of you, or a misaligned business, or a job you hate, or a relationship that is just not you. When you're in that truly authentic, liberated part of you, then the things that you allow into your life are just beautiful, perfect for you, and perfect for the people that engage with you, because your energy is there truly and authentically. I love working with people at this deeper level, because the changes, the transformations that I see in them are profound. It's just so beautiful to witness. Nonetheless, please be aware that there is no getting away from this. You can say, yeah, I'm not ready to do that, or, I can't afford to work with that person. I'd love to, but I can't afford it. No matter what it is, at least sit with yourself and be honest with yourself, because there is no getting away from this. We are in the time now of truth and authenticity, and that is going to amplify more and more as we move into this timeline and into this energy. If something is not aligned, even if it used to be, and even if it used to work well, if it's no longer working now, it needs fixing. It needs, a pivot, or tweaking, or changing, or maybe throwing away and starting again. Because the energy that is here right now is all about that. It's about upgrading you, actually, getting you into the best position, the best life for you. But that can only come from within you when you see the best for you. Things have to change, and we can do it consciously and intuitively and through our inner guidance and, alignment, aligned vision, or we can resist the change, try to resist the change and be dragged somewhat blindly, actually, into our next energetic experience, which, okay, you can argue, well, I'm going to learn something either way. But do you want to learn it on a timeline of truth and authenticity? Or do you want to learn it on a timeline where there is a lot of ego purification that needs to be to go through, and a lot of, I would say, more harsh lessons, to be perfectly honest with you? Either way, you will find yourself in the place of having to look at yourself, at where you are now, and at the choices that you've made that have got you there. So whether you're stepping up into this new earth timeline, you're still going to have to look at yourself, the truth of you, and strip away all of those heavy emotional heart blocks and negativity. You've got to strip that away to shift up into the new earth timeline. If you choose not to look at that stuff, you're still carrying it. It's still in there. All of the unhealed stuff, the fact that you don't love yourself very much or like yourself, or the fact that you'll do anything to make a buck, or you'll sell your soul, or whatever it is that you've got going on there. It's still going to be there within you. It's just that it's going to be holding you down. Whereas if you face it now, you can let it go and then elevate. It's there with you either way. So you face it, deal with it, or you try and ignore it and hide it, and it will still have the impact upon you, because that's just how it is. So in the end, you'll still have to look at yourself. Sorry to say that. I just think it's easier to do it now, this way, with support, with guidance, because it is only going to intensify later. Isn't that a lovely note to end this little YouTube video on? But that is the truth of it. You know me, I am a truth speaker, and I will call things exactly as I see them. So, as a quick ending to this, we are in a fantastic time to deal with our shit, let it go, so that we can evolve and create a beautiful new earth collectively. Or we are also at a time when our heavy baggage is just going to feel heavier and heavier. So I invite you to work with me or somebody like me that does this, or even look at yourself honestly in the mirror and say, you know what, I've had enough. I want to let go of all of this so that I can remember who I am and what I'm really here for. And then let's all collectively step up into this new earth timeline so that we can create a beautiful future based on truth, authenticity, integrity, and love. I invite you to join me there. So if you have enjoyed this video, please follow, like, subscribe, share, all the usual stuff, because we still have algorithms to deal with, don't we, while we're here. But at least you know that what you get from me is fully open, truthful and honest, even if I do swear a little bit at times, probably get that edited to do a little bleep now and again. But there you go. That's me, that's who I am. And I hope you enjoyed my video. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.